the opportunity to be here, and wow, this is much larger, and just a wonderful turnout. I grew up about an hour south of here in Caldwell. I was an Eagle Scout in Troop 9. I did most of my camping in Camp Glen Grange, Treasure Island. We would summer at Camp Novi Bosco, and then as the Essex Council bought a camp up in the Adirondacks. And so I share sort of that personal cornerstone with you, just to frame my remarks. I would also offer that if from my perspective, Charlie, looking at the breadth and depth of folks that you got here today to recognize and honor this, it's a testament in twofold. One, sort of our collective recognition that this is a big deal, and that Charlie is clearly a wonderful young man. That you've got everybody from a high school principal and teachers to the brigade tactical officer to scouting volunteers to an awful lot of cadets in white over gray on a Sunday afternoon to an amazingly well organized scout troop. There's a lot of underlying goodness in that. I would also just want to extend, and if you would please join me, to extend my thanks to the volunteers who run the troop. I've also got 3 Eagle Scouts, and what I would share with you is we parents we're pretty deliberate in the adult ecosystem that we choose to surround our kids with, and that we choose to help shepherd our children into adulthood. So if you would please join me in a round of applause for the adult volunteers. And then I would also recognize that the Eagle Scout ceremony has baked into it an acknowledgement and recognition for Mom and Dad. But Mom and Dad, I would just say thank you. I would say thank you for the time, the investment, the resources, the trips to summer camp, the weekly debriefings after each meeting, like what did you get signed off this week? The patches, the sewing, the uniforms, this is a family endeavor that lasts years. And while it is certainly possible to earn the rank of Eagle Scout without a loving and supportive family, it certainly helps. And it certainly just makes it much more deeper. So thank you. So the only 3 things I would share are, one, the transference between scouting and service in the Army, the transference between scouting and West Point, it's blindingly obvious. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country. Our motto is duty, honor, country. I mean, the transference is just on and on and on in terms of setting the cornerstones of leadership and character, and that shouldn't really be a surprise. Scouting was founded by Lord Baden-Powell about 120 years ago. He was this grouchy old Army colonel in the British forces that had returned from the Boer Wars and looked at the kids in Britain at that time and said, the darn kids these days, I got to take them outside and teach them character and leadership. And what he did blossomed into a centuries-long movement that has influenced millions of young people. And so the transference in terms of leadership and character should be blindingly obvious. I would take just a moment to recognize that the way scouting's programmatics work and the way scouting's programmatics maybe build into this academy and military service. And so if you don't know, I'll assume that some of the audience doesn't know exactly how scouting works. And so I'll describe to you, and I raided my son's bookshelf today. So if you were to lay out each of the badges, each of the merit badges on Charlie's chest, each one of them has about 25 requirements in general. And the first 5 or 6 requirements start out as like baseline foundational knowledge. Some of that baseline foundational knowledge, it always ties back to the scout oath. It always ties back to the outdoor ethic. There's always like a safety and first aid component to it. And that like makes up the first 5 or 6 requirements of each of those merit badges. It doesn't matter if it's camping or pioneering or backpacking, it makes no difference. The foundation for each is the same, sort of starts out with values-based progression, and then it talks about safety and first aid, and then it talks about the technical competencies of the merit badge. And then there's a series of tasks that progress. And if you look at the tasks, they're iterative, and they're progressive, and they're increasing in challenge. And they're actually, I'm going to read a couple of them because they're actually really pretty remarkable what we ask these young people to do. So hang on just a second. So for camping, so the camping merit badge, this is like the culminating event for camping merit badge. Camp a total of 20 nights. At any of these experiences, you must do the following. Hike up a mountain, 1,000 feet of vertical elevation gain. Backpack or snowshoe across country ski at least 4 miles. Take a bike trip at least 15 miles. Plan and carry an overnight snow camping experience. Rappel down a cliff 30 feet or more. Pioneering. Charlie's got this one too, I just checked. Good job, Charlie. Not that I'm crazy. Pioneering, the last 2 requirements of the Pioneering Merit Badge. I can't find them in a book, but I can tell you by memory that the last 2 requirements of Pioneering Merit Badge are to make a 2-scale pioneering project, tower, or bridge. Backpacking. Backpacking requires that the scout plan and conduct a 5-day continuous backpacking trip that is at least 30 miles in length. Hiking. Hiking goes from a 5-mile hike to 2 10-mile hikes, a 15-mile hike, and culminates with a 20-mile hike. So those are just snapshots. Those are just snapshots of the little requirements that the scouts work their way through. The little merit badges are not free. Each one of them is this enormous collection of investment and time and toil that takes months. 21 of them are required to earn the Eagle Scout rank, and that's in addition to the progression through the ranks that the cadets do separately. So it really is this remarkable program of iterative challenge, of things getting iteratively harder, this iterative growth experience. And what you've figured out by now is that West Point is almost exactly the same. It's almost exactly like one challenge after the next. It's almost exactly one version of a 20-mile hike after the next, including some 20-mile hikes. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, but Charlie, here's the thing, is that's exactly how life is. And it's why this program, and it's why this achievement is so great, and it's why this collection of people from a broad and diverse range of experiences and moments in your life are here to honor this and to honor you and your family, because this is such a solidifying cornerstone for your future. And so on behalf of the Commandant and the Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, congratulations.